Hey guys, and thank you so much for tuning into my channel. My name is DeLady Designer and we're back with another speed build video of our city zoo. And this time we are building a orangutan habitat, and I'm gonna tell you more about this in a minute. In the last episode, I mentioned that I sent Frontier Developments my map because I was a little bit confused why the animals were not using the stuff I've built for them. And it turns out that the gorillas, how they are made and how their animations are working is not completely working together with like the plaster pieces, which we are using a lot. So for example, they're not able to use a climbing frame and then jump off of that onto a plaster piece unless it is something just connected so they can walk. So not jump, but they can walk. And also, yeah, for example, the animals are pretty big, so you have to make sure that it's wide enough. So I did make a lot of changes also in the gorilla habitat, which I will show you guys in the end of this video, obviously. And yeah, I just try to replace a lot of things with just the climbing frames. Sometimes I made the area a little bit bigger of the plaster frames. And also what was very interesting is that they mentioned, like, for example, I've built like a lot of straight vertical stairways for them to climb on, but then they were not able to walk onto the plaster pieces. But if you use a angled climbing pole and then would like lay it on top of the plaster frames, then they are able to climb onto it. So it's just something you have to know, I guess, to make things work. But I will show you guys how I made it work, so if you are interested in doing something similar, then you will know how to do it. Everything works now, so I'm really happy with that. And because of this indoor area, it's so big, I was like, what can I do with this to add maybe another animal? And then I saw in my Discord server, as I mentioned, like I have a inspirational channel for Planet Zoo where everyone can just post their pictures and stuff they find on the internet or made themselves of real life zoos, which you think that might be interesting. And someone actually shared a drawing, aka map of, I think it was 1988, of Rotterdam Zoo, and it seems like they had orangutans back in the days in this zoo. And I was like, oh my goodness, that is really cool if I could just separate these two habitats for also some orangutans, even though it's not like they have them right now anymore. At least I was looking for them. I was like, no, I can't really remember they still have orangutans, and I can't find them on the map of Rotterdam Zoo. But I was like, that's just a fun thing to add because the area was so big, and I felt like, wow, I think it just looks great to have different types of primates in this area. So I really hope you guys like it. I think it works perfectly. We already had two different areas where they would go outside. And obviously, as mentioned, everything like the Rivierahal from Rotterdam Zoo is just as inspiration. Like, of course, I take some things that I try to recreate, but I also really want to give it my own twist. And this is a great example of giving it my own twist. And obviously having a different outdoor section for the orangutan and for the gorillas. So in this episode, we're building the gorilla habitat. And in the next episode, we're starting to do the outside area for the gorillas. And I know I've mentioned that I wanted to start with the pygmy hippo and the rhino first, but I felt like, no, I want to complete this primate section first before I move on. I think I am able to squeeze in the pygmy hippo and the rhino in one episode, but I haven't started yet, so things might change. But I'm just really happy how this is coming along and just using the real life zoo as some inspiration. But as you can see right now, I'm making a different entrance section, which is basically not really there, but in the real life zoo, you would have a entrance area at like the bigger dome section where the gorillas are, if I remember correctly. So yeah, things are a little bit different from the real life zoo, but I really like this idea because in the real life zoo, you have like this round little plaza at this same area. And there you would have like a viewing gallery also for the little pygmy hippo. And I thought it would be nice to have that as an entrance area on its own. So we're still working on that section, but I just laid out the round plaza area just as a reference. And yeah, it's just, I'm really happy with how everything is coming along at the moment. And I also did create some educational signs at the gorilla and orangutan habitat area. I'm not completely happy with those yet. I will show you guys how they are looking at the end of this video too. It is inspired by the real life zoo, but in my opinion, it's a little bit too dark how I made it. And I just recently got, again from Transfixer, thank you so much. He went to Rotterdam Zoo and he made some pictures for me at the Rivierahal, so that's really amazing. And he also shared some pictures, if I remember correctly, from this, or I found them on Google now, and I'm not sure anymore. But I'm like, okay, I might change them in a later stage and just to make them a little bit brighter. But I'm just curious how you guys feel about these educational signs, which I am building right now. And the idea is actually to have this little section. I think they try to represent the biome they live in or what they eat, something like that. I'm not really sure. I can't really remember what is actually in there, but it's just a fun way to have like more than just a sign. I just added some green because it's like super small, so you can't really go into like the super small details, but just to give the idea that there's like more information about where they live, where they're coming from, what they're eating, and those kind of things. So you get the idea, even though it's maybe a little bit vague if you look at it. And the outside of the orangutan habitat, I was googling for orangutan island zoo habitat, something in that range, and I found a picture, but it didn't tell me what kind of zoo it was from. So I'm sorry for that I can't tell you, but it was a pretty plain climbing frames and stuff. I did see a lot of awesome pictures with a lot of ropes and those kind of things, but the ropes just don't work as we want it to be. So I use the ropes a little bit as more decoration than I really wish that the animals would be able to use those ropes, because I really wish that the animals would be able to use those ropes, but since they don't, I'm like, okay. I just try to use them sometimes, but not too often, because it will also hurt a little bit of their traversable areas and stuff. So yeah, it's all every time a little bit of like a debate of what you want to do and what not. But yeah, I'm actually really happy with how the island has turned out. And as I said, in the next episode, we're going to start building on the gorilla habitat, which is more inspired by the old habitat, I think, than the newer version you would see in Rotterdam Zoo. But for those that haven't seen Rotterdam Zoo, it doesn't really matter. But for those that have been to Rotterdam Zoo, I used a map of the older habitat just a little bit as inspiration. They have like this really cool water section and water island, so I tried to use that idea to create something nice for the gorillas. So yeah, I'm really excited to share that with you guys. I'm still working a little bit on that one, so that will be up in this weekend. And it's also good to mention that I will try to do my best to upload a little bit more frequently, because I know that I mentioned like sometimes it just takes long and it can be like one episode a week, maybe 2, maybe 5, but so far it's like slowing down, and I really want to try to do my best to give you guys some more videos. So yeah, hopefully you guys will like that. And I'm just really excited because, well, it's March right now, and if my calculations are correct, we should be able to see a new DLC somewhere in April. So we're getting closer, so I'm just really excited to hear something about that. I really hope that will be anytime soon, so we don't have to wait too long. But yeah, I'm just really looking forward to get some fresh animals, and hopefully to get some like fresh new game-changing elements like good working tunnels, for example, or aviaries or aquariums, something like that. So yeah, I'm just really excited to start hearing some news. They also posted a forum post with like the new streaming schedules for Planet Zoo, and they also said like, oh yeah, there are going to be some surprises. So is that like a reference to more news about DLC or something like that? So yeah, I'm just really curious to hear anything, because well, the time is running out, and April was the upload date for Planet Coaster and for Jurassic World Evolution. so it totally makes sense that somewhere in April we will hear more about a DLC, but I'm just super excited for it. And let me know in the comment section if you guys are excited and what you are hoping for a new DLC. So without further talking, I will leave you guys with the rest of this speed build and I will show you guys around at the end of this video. See you in a minute. let us start off with the gorilla habitat, the indoor habitat. As you can see, we now have a green background. If you have seen Koala Zoo, yes, this is inspired of what Mike Sheets did in the last episode with my giant panda habitat. He just added this green wall. I think he also split it up in 2 colors, but because I already have these darker green elements of the plaster pieces, I decided to only have it 1 color, but it really makes a difference and really gives that little bit of a retro, older vibe you get when you see those pictures of Rotterdam Zoo, how it was. I'm not still sure if it still is the same color, but that doesn't matter. But I just really like how this is looking. And this is also what I mentioned with like the climbing poles. Just lay them on the plaster pieces in an angle, and then they are able to climb from one area to the other one. And that sometimes just didn't work. Like for example, this one is not going to help with having gorillas going from this side to the other side. Even though it does look super logic, it just doesn't work that way. So yeah, I had to make a lot of changes to add these poles and also make it wider and overhang a little bit. But they are now able to use it everywhere, which is just really cool. And also in this case, just one area right over here, 1 pole, and then they are able to walk on this particular area. They are able to walk on this area, on that area, and climb all the way. And like this obviously does work as long as this is also a climbing frame, then it can connect. But as soon as you have a plaster piece right over here instead of the climbing frame, then a straight vertical pole just does not work, unfortunately. So yeah, those small little tips were very helpful with creating a functional climbing area for the gorillas in this case. And as you can see, there is already a sneak peek on the outside, but you can't really tell that there are like small little islands and stuff. It's gonna be really cool. I really hope you guys like it. And I'm also experimenting with a bit more of different climbing frames, so that's going to be interesting too, but that's for next episode. So now we're going to the orangutan habitat. So I closed off this particular opening on the middle section. There was like this ramp going on and off in between, and now we have this cute little gorilla orangutan area for the inside enclosure, and they are actually using everything, which is super cool. They're sleeping on top of it. I didn't want to go too crazy with this. Like if you would look at a real zoo, yes, the ropes would count as climbing stuff and such, but yeah, it just doesn't work that way. But I feel like the climbing section in this area is enough, I guess. And yeah, I just really like it when you have like these raised platforms right over here when the people are standing here and the orangutans are like playing on this little keyboard, and it's just a lot of fun to have like an up close experience with them. So right over here we have these educational stands. As I said, like they should represent like what they eat or what kind of biome, but it's like a very small little section right over here, so you can't really detail it too crazy. So I just decided to have some different types of green in here. But to give the idea, it does break off like this section and this flat wall. I might change the colors just of the darker wooden beams, even though I think it does work. It matches also like the roof and stuff. And what I mentioned in the video, like I'm not really sure where, but there should have been like an entrance. Like if you look at the real zoo, there is some kind of entrance somewhere over here, I think, for this particular primates area. But yeah, I just decided to have like this indoor hallway going from our museum to here. And this is still needs to be decorated, obviously. So we have some educational signs right over here just to have not a completely flat wall. So we're going to have like the pygmy hippo right over here with an indoor and outdoor section, and the same goes for a rhino, which will have like a big outdoor section too. And so yeah, I've made an extra door right over here. Just a hallway. I'm still struggling a little bit with the interiors, but so far I think it looks fine. So we go outside. I use the same door pieces and stuff from the main entrance because I just really liked how it looks. Still really hope that we will get some different glass pieces for different animals. So then we have this outdoor section, and it's really cool that the people are using the outdoor area too, even though the orangutans are inside. So I really like that because, well, realistically, people will just go outside anyways, even though they have seen the animals. So I think they changed something around that. So I really like that. It's a pretty plain climbing frame. As I said, I looked up a picture and it was basically this kind of shape, and I really like it. It's not too much and it's pretty simple. Obviously, they have more ropes and stuff because orangutans just really like to climb from one side to the other. But yeah, as I mentioned, I try to use the ropes more as a bit of a decoration, and I really like how this one has turned out. And at the back of this big wall is going to be the gorilla habitat, as mentioned, or the outdoor habitat. And this is like the plaza I was talking about. So you have to imagine there will be the pygmy hippo area, and that will go like very thin right over here. There will be like this viewing gallery from this side for the pygmy hippo, and there will be a viewing gallery on the inside, obviously. And then we will have like a little bit going through here, I think. And then we will have like a big rhino habitat on the outside here. And I think it's going to look super cool. And we're going to have like a lot of green and stuff to really, make it look natural and real and realistic. I am really happy with how this is coming along. And I'm really curious what you guys think. If you have any tips or suggestions still. I'm also really happy with the gates for the animals. I think this looks way better than what we had, even though that was also just temporarily. But I just really like to use these fencing. If you're wondering, these are fence pieces. And I think it really works. And obviously the idea is that there's like a gap in between where you can just, I don't know, is it electric maybe? Where they can just close it off and open it. Guess something like that. And I'm not really sure yet about this staff door. I just have a door right over here. We might just add some green and stuff right over here to hide it away a little bit to make it not that prominent. But I actually was just like, oh right, I also need a gate somewhere, and this was the only space I had left. So yeah, that's how it came together, I guess. But yeah, I'm really happy with how this one has turned out. Let me know in the comment section down below if you guys like it. Leave a like in the video if you guys enjoyed, and subscribe, of course, if you haven't already. And I just really hope to see you guys all in the next episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye guys!